Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Shannon Roberta Salmon-Haas and Alex Vollmer. We've been talking about the difference between criminal and civil juries. We were supposed to talk about O.J. Simpson, so we have to bring that up too. I'm going to tell a story about a time when I had a jury trial. It was an eviction case. I represented the landlord, and you were talking about preparing for a trial. I went through everything, and just like every other area of my life, God carried me.
Oh, nice.
And so it was so bizarre. I was reading everything that I could to prepare for this, and then somehow I had to, because I was a member of Rotary, had to call somebody in another Rotary club who just happened to be like a lawyer or a judge or something, and I was just complaining that I was going to do this eviction case, and the person said, well, when the issue's eviction, you can't talk about anything else. There were lots of other complaints that the tenants had about
Oh, I see.
about the
Right.
tenancy,
Right.
and that cleared the air for me.
Nice.
And so I was able to go to that trial. Confident because
Love it.
the opposing counsel had told me over the phone.
Oh, who is it? Are you allowed to say?
No,
Oh.
that he was going to tear my client's heart out.
I bet I know them.
Over
because
an eviction?
It's a very small world. Back in the day,
Yeah.
it's a very, very small world. There's just one or two that were in that realm doing
yeah,
those.
and so I was like, gosh, that sounds horrible. But I didn't know what to do with that information, so I just put it aside. And
Oh, goodness.
in the Justice of the Peace Court, I think the jury was 6 people, and you're allowed to strike some of them. This was all new to me way back then.
Strike means remove from the jury, not hit.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for saying that. Well, I only had one question. I said, how many of you are homeowners? And all but one answered in the affirmative, and so I excluded the one that was not a homeowner. And I figured that was the only question I needed.
Right. Why overdo it? Yeah.
Right. Plus, I didn't know anything else.
How long ago was this now?
Like 100 years ago.
Have you thought of a good comeback yet to the guy's wacky threat that
No.
he tried to aggress you?
I'm just not
You don't
clever enough to.
There was never that night
to
where
be-
at 2 a.m. you're like, and you want to call him up. And
The French call it the moment d'escalier, when you're leaving an argument going down the stairs and you realize what you should have said.
yeah. Seinfeld calls it the George.
Yeah, when George said,
Yeah.
jerk store.
Well, come on, you're witty. What would you have said?
If someone told me they were going to eat my client's heart,
Rip it out,
Yeah.
right?
rip out my client's heart,
Yeah.
oh, something along, I don't know, you'll have to go through me first and good luck finding it.
Ooh, tell it. Love it.
Yeah, Alex is a sweet guy on the outside,
If someone
but he's tough.
came at me like that, I'd probably would just go, okay, and hang up the phone.
Yeah,
and,
you'd be so taken aback,
Yeah, I
right?
know, yeah.
So odd.
I have gotten very angry in a mediation. There was a bad contractor case, and I was representing the homeowner.
I can get worked up.
Why can I not even imagine you angry?
And
I've seen it.
I think that
Really?
this other attorney was just like poking me, and I stood up and I said, "Don't talk to my client that way." And then I sat down, and the mediator was, trying to get us. I don't know.
Wow, that is amazing.
I mean, we're
I was
there
trying
for
to
them.
picture you angry, and you just had like one eyebrow like slightly raised, like 1 centimeter more than normal.
I wish I could do that.
Well, sometimes you have to react, or the client doesn't think you're doing a good job.
good
And
point,
sometimes
yeah.
that's unreasonable.
Yeah.
I was at a hearing. This was a family law divorce type case.
Oh, the fun
And-
ones, yeah.
And I don't even remember what the issue was, but when we left, the client was like, "You're fired."
Wow.
And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, you didn't even advocate for me."
Oh, gosh.
I said, the judge didn't want to hear from me.
Right.
You know, it was over. This isn't something that we
They
can argue about.
picture it like on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, he probably wanted more time or whatever, and attorneys usually get more time if they ask for it.
I would never say names, but I know 2 lawyers that are very good friends that will go have a pretend fight to impress their clients.
Oh, okay.
Because the clients love it. They think like, wow, I'm really, and
You throw down your legal
right.
pad.
Yeah.
Pound the facts.
Sort of like a baseball game, you know, when the coach is yelling at the umpire and saying, "I'm going to take you to dinner after this game."
Yeah.
But the time, I'm going to take you to dinner. But the times that are really real in court, it's not theatrics,
No.
it's the
Yeah.
law. When you
Well-
prepared last night and you said, here's the law and here's the case law, and, you know, it's not glamorous.
If you start with theatrics in court, you're going to get smacked down by the judge real quick, real fast, you know? Don't you think? The judges don't like theatrics.
I do have one story of where theatrics worked, when I saw that it worked. I have time.
Yeah.
So I can't remember his name, which is good because I wouldn't want to say his name either, but he was an old school criminal defense attorney. You would know the name. Like if you saw him, you would recognize him. Always there, really good. And something happened, I can't even remember, but I was observing because I liked to learn back then. And I
Still do, but you did then too.
Thank you. So he took off his glasses in a typical, like he did the whole thing. He was like, I can't believe, he was throwing his theatrics through the roof. I can't believe you would do that. How could you let you, and the judge said,
Was this a criminal trial?
yeah.
There you go.
Judge said, do you need a minute to calm down? Yes, I do. I need a minute to collect my thoughts. And I'm in all my 53 years, I've never seen, you know, and so he went out. When he came back, he had a yellow pad and he read off the clearly delineated, like under the Fourth Amendment and the I object under, and he went on for like 20 minutes, and I realized that he had done his whole little show because he didn't have his list yet of all the constitutional objections he wanted to make. So he went out, checked, he did U.S. Constitution and Texas Constitution, and it was gorgeous, and he came, you know,
He
back
just
like,
needed time to write it all down.
yeah, so it was planned, I guess.
Well, you know, my experience in criminal trial, I've been the defense attorney and I've been the prosecutor. As a prosecutor, you cannot yell, you cannot scream. You have to be very matter of fact. I am here for the law. I'm here for this. I'm here for that.
You're right. Defense attorneys probably get a little more leeway, right?
If that's all you have, you know, yes, defense attorneys for criminal cases, and I've done it. Yeah, you get incensed for your client. You have to.
Yeah.
Because the deck is already stacked against you because of, you know, reality most of the time.
Right.
These agencies are very good at collecting evidence. But yeah, that's where that emotion, the theatrics
Good
pay
point.
off.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's legitimate.
Yeah, and jurors, I would imagine, just like any normal person, could probably tell if you're faking it. So if it seems authentic, you know, then you might put some credibility in that.
I got a little worked up during closing argument during our most recent civil trial. I was upset that we had to be there.
Yeah.
That it was forced to go that far.
Yeah. Well, you bring that point out. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about preparing for trial.
Yeah. Boy, you know, that's my least favorite part of a trial is well, not the preparing, but everything leading up to it. Motions, discovery, all that stuff. It's very technical. But when talking about preparing for trial, yeah, it's very time intensive. And, you know, I used to be a solo practitioner, and now that, you know, I'm with the firm that, you know, we have the support staff that we do, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do as good a job as I did without the support of like our chief paralegal, Cheryl, our paralegal, Catherine, and everybody, our records custodian, William, our front front office staff. We can't do it without them. Not to the level of quality that we do.
Yeah, it was a big help and allowed you to focus on more technical things.
Everybody in the office, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Another question that Kirk had was, if justice is blind, why do we need to see the jury, and why does the jury need to even see the parties to the case?
Like, why don't we just have a totally anonymized, behind like the identity protected interviewer from the mafia kind of, I don't know.
Disguised voice and silhouettes.
I mean, that might violate the confrontation clause.
Well, plus, I think that as the trier of fact, the jury needs to see the
That's
parties
important.
so that they can assess the credibility of what they're saying.
There's a lot of information in a
Body
facial
language.
expression or body
Yeah.
language. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that makes...
You ever think that somebody was lying, Shannon?
I don't know if I should confess this on air, but I'm not. That's not really my personality. I usually accept people at face value. I have a friend that he automatically thinks everybody's lying. It's just his personality.
Well, I was in a hearing with another attorney who said that somebody stole his laptop the night before and he was not prepared. And I said, Judge, he's lying. And the judge
Wow.
said, let's take a break.
Oh my gosh.
Be right back.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.